is YouTube chat.
Okay, now you should be able to hear stuff.
I can hear you talking fine in Discord. But the question is it recording to the stream? I can hear you talking fine in Discord.
We're good. We're all good. We just want people to pile in. Hello.
Good evening.
There we go.
And we can... Oh, we have a choice of both chats, but the YouTube chat's not functional, obviously. I don't think.
I was hoping to get more people trialed last night when I was using this feature. We were doing like 10 hours of the hamster dance, and then we did 10 hours of Rick Astley. But nobody fell for it.
Ah, right. Now I can hear the stream coming back through the stream and the delay.
We'll just mute the video you've got open.
There we go. Okay, so we mute the video.
Yes.
And
otherwise you're hearing it twice.
Yeah. The next question that I would have then is chat would still be available within the video, but you'd have to still do that through YouTube, yeah?
Correct. If you want to respond back to chat, that will be through YouTube.
There is also the chat in this Discord channel as well, but
yeah, I will be completely ignoring that for this session.
Well, I think at the end of the day, when we start streaming on multiple platforms and stuff, we are going to have to monitor multiple chats.
Mm-hmm.
But hey.
Monitoring we can do. It's just I can't literally pay attention to two at the same time and do everything.
No.
I'm not that good.
You don't have to. That's our that's a future thing where we have like moderators that call out good questions and stuff like that, and then one person's responsible for fielding those questions, which we can then answer.
Sounds very organised.
Yes, I know. So, well, you watch the WAN show, don't you?
It's not usually our MO to be really that organised, but yeah, it's cool. It sounds good. I do watch the WAN show occasionally.
Yeah, so how they run their chat is they're on like Twitch, they're on YouTube, they're on Floatplane, and they have 3 separate chats all running at the same time. The content of the chat never goes out on their stream. Right. But the moderators pick the questions out of those 3 chats, and then we would answer those in like real time in devoted segments.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's cool.
So I will keep an eye on all chats.
More work for the moderators. Make them do more. Anyhow.
Yeah, well we can work on that at a later date, but this is cool for the time being.
It is. This is working. It's all good. And it also alerts more people to the fact something's going on, so that's cool. Right. Shall we crack on then?
Yes, I think we should.
Okay, so we are cracking on. Welcome to Roundtable 76. Catch up with the WNG team, find out what we've got planned for the coming week. Also hear about changes that have happened over the last week. We'll be doing some Q&A at the end. You get to influence the future of the community. It sounds amazing. Weekly maintenance will be 9 a.m. tomorrow morning as usual. And I look forward to the where's the servers? Why are the servers not here? The servers are down. It's highlight of my week. And then lastly, before we crack on with gaming related news, happy birthday, John. / eventuating. Can we give John the bumps and a big birthday holler, please? He's big boy 21 today. There you go. Some happy birthdays for John. Yay! These big boy pants on and everything today. Right, so we're going to have a short one today. I don't think it's half as long as what we've been doing. And I'm going to start with Rust, because there's some good Arc stuff, and I want to allow more time for that at the end. So, yeah, you're a real boy now, John.
Saying that, though, the stuff we've got planned for Rust and the direction we're taking it in is pretty phenomenal too.
It is. I just feel there'll be more discussion around the Arc type of stuff. But we can do Arc first if you want.
No. I totally agree with doing Rust first, and it's what I really wanted to point out with the Rust stuff is we're heading in a direction that we feel will really appeal to our current player base.
Yes, a little bit more familiar.
And yes, something a bit more familiar, something with a little less of the PvP and a bit more of the PvE, but in a way that still keeps it challenging and entertaining and fun to play with a good sense of reward.
Yeah. So to lead into that then, I'll tell you what we've got coming for Rust this week. So been talking to the players, especially Mosh. Thank you again for input. It's invaluable. We'll start with the Bradley loot overhaul. So as pointed out by a few of the players, Bradley didn't feel like it was dropping what it was supposed to do. For those not in the know, the Bradley is essentially a tank that wanders around one of the POIs of the maps. And if you can take that big tank down, it drops lots and lots of loot, guns, all that sort of stuff. Real techie type equipment that you can't get many other places. So we discovered that it wasn't weighted enough. Guns were lacking. So we spent 2 or 3 days this week. We've completely re-overhauled the Bradley loot. And I've been assured that Mosh has tested it already. He says he's quite happy with the weights on it. There was one minor thing about maybe the skins weren't applying correctly to some of the weapons. I don't see why that is, but I did say I would look into that, and I'll be doing that at some point this week. Now, the big exciting thing we've got coming for Rust is something like an NPC overhaul. It's going to be both cosmetic and AI as well. The way Rust NPCs currently work is they're all basically scientists. The idea of Rust being you're a prisoner, you've been thrown onto this abandoned island, and kind of Lord of the Flies, let them just play and sort it all out between themselves. And there are some POIs on the map. We have everything from missile silos to underground bunkers and underwater labs. They're kind of all run by these secret scientist types. The problem with that is these scientists are very generic, so they always look like a hazmat suit wearing scientist. They're quite basic in terms of what they can do. They follow you around for about 10 seconds unless you've broken a line of sight. One of the big issues with them is the way Rust AI works. They can kind of see out of the back of their heads. They have a 360-degree view, so as soon as you come into range of one of these things, they'll start shooting whether or not they've seen you. So one of the things we've got coming is a complete overhaul to all of this. So it lets us sort of spruce them up a little bit. We can equip them with different clothes depending on where they are, makes the map look more alive. It improves the AI on the NPCs. They can do things they couldn't do before. Some of the highlights to that would be line of sight is something I'm really excited about. So you get the option to sneak up on the little things, which means we can add a few more NPCs to the map, making you able to do the stealth thing and take them out from behind, do the sneaky ninja thing. They're now going to be capable of throwing grenades, which they could never do before. So you're hiding behind a concrete slab or something, or a building trying to get out of the way. They'll quite happily just chuck a grenade and flush you out. And in some of the bigger POIs, we're also adding smoke grenades, which is going to be amazing fun. It's going to have to be controlled, I agree, because nothing would suck than being in like a small POI and then having a big smoke screen going up and seeing nothing. It happened in testing. It's not fun. So it's going to take some work, but there's a huge NPC overhaul coming. Possibly somewhere we can trial it in the next maybe week, maybe 2 weeks, I think. There's close to 500 configuration files to go through. Found a nice way of doing that where we can do it on bulk. But even so, we need to go through all the individual POIs, make sure that they're not smoking out small POIs and chucking grenades and glass houses, that sort of thing. But excited about this. This is going to be coming really, really soon. You want to add anything else to that?
I was just actually having a little chat in the YouTube chat here about potential tribe wars, because Rust seemed to inspire the PvP-ness in the ARC audience.
That's cool. That's cool.
Do we want to hint more or divulge more about the direction that we're heading with Rust?
And yeah.
What our development plans are and stuff like that.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so a kind of a vision that I had for a Rust server, and I shared it with Nani, and I shared it with Cannabis as well. And we were looking for something in addition to our normal server that makes us stand out from the group, makes us a little bit different, and appeals to the kind of players that we've currently got within the community. So we thought, well, hardcore PvP with strict rules and tribe limits and stuff like that doesn't really appeal to you guys, I don't think. And the massive losses that you can incur when somebody raids your base while you're offline, and the fact that you can wake up one morning and not have anything at all could be really disheartening, and I don't feel resonates with the players that we've got. So we thought, well, what is kind of cool? And people like a challenge. They like objectives to achieve and have a sense of achievement, with not no risk, but a kind of a balanced risk versus reward, which you don't get in PvP because the risk versus reward is just not there. You either wipe and lose everything, or you win and gain everything. It's kind of, it's either one or the other. You can't like go, well, okay, I'm going to risk this much and I expect to get this much in return. So we thought, what would make it really cool, unique, and just kind of make it actually fun for people that aren't into PvP? And then we thought, well, people like to work towards objectives, so we're coming up with a system. And what did we end up calling it in the end?
Conquest, I believe.
Yes, Rust Conquest, we're going to call it. And it's something that we haven't seen anywhere else. And what it'll do, it'll split a Rust map up into sectors. And those sectors have control points within them. And you can capture a control point by being within its radius. That control point then gives you additional perks, benefits, resources, that kind of thing. Then another clan could come in and take that control point off you by capturing it back. Or in the long run, if you don't have anyone trying to capture the control point with a set amount of time, then we'll look at also launching an NPC attack on that control point. You can build in it, you can defend it, you can, do whatever you want within it, and while you retain its benefits. That would then show up on the global map to show you which control points and how much of the map your clan actually controls. So the idea is you have an ongoing fight for full control of the map. On top of that, there's the stuff that Nani was talking about, which is more intelligent NPCs. I didn't realize this in Rust, but NPCs have a 360-degree radar, which means they can spot you through walls, they can see you wherever you are. They have a small kind of aggro radius, but it makes meaningful combat with NPCs very tricky. So, as he said, we've got the improved NPCs, which will have the same limitations, or we want to get their behavior as close to kind of player behavior as possible. So they won't have unlimited kind of grenades. They won't be able to see you if you're hiding behind a wall, that kind of thing, which will then lead to more meaningful battles around points of interest and capture points and objectives on the map. Layer on top of that, you'll have airdrops to fight over. You'll have events like the Bradley, or we've got an armored train which will go around the map as well. And suddenly you've turned Rust from a PvP mosh pit into a kind of battlefield, war zone PvE experience, which allows you to build, get your blueprints, do your crafting, do your resource collection, have combat with events or boss events, capture areas of the map, control bits for yourself, but without the overbearing PvP element that is often associated with Rust. So kind of feel that will be a very interesting and kind of exciting experience to play.
I kind of liked how you used the word radar there, apart from 365 vision. Yeah, that works way better.
And Cannabis is working very hard on this with input from both myself and Nani. And yeah, I think it's going to be cool.
It's going to be awesome. And then on top of that, it's hard wipe next week. So we're now bi-weekly wipes on Rust rather than weekly wipes. Weekly seems a little bit too much, too sudden. So we're going bi-weekly because this month has got an extra week in it. In terms of splitting them up by 2 weeks, we're going to have an extra week, which will wipe this Thursday, and then we have a brand new custom map coming as well. We have a choice of 2. I haven't decided which one we're going to push forward yet. I think we'll both have a look at them and see what we think. But both of the maps that we've got, aside from Barnacle Reef, which players I'm hearing are really enjoying, which I'm glad to hear. That was a big thing. That do we do customs? Do we do not? But apparently it's gone down really well. So there's 2 more in the rotation, and there will be a brand new experience next week. I think that's pretty much what I've got for Rust this week. I did want to mention one last final call for Minecraft. In fact, not even a call, but a decision. Nobody at all over the past 2 weeks has answered that they are indeed playing Minecraft. So I think the decision will be made now that we will close that down and use those cores for something else, whatever that may be. We've discussed a few things, haven't we? We've discussed sort of a new map, or there's the creative thing that or at least more freedom map, however we want to term it or call it. There's the ideas out there. So I think Minecraft is going to sleep now.
I think the builders map is a good way to go.
Yes.
And what's my thoughts on that are we transitioning into Arc now?
Yeah.
Okay. So my personal thoughts on the creative map, or builders map as we're going to call it, is yes, it will have, I think, higher structure limits. I think rather than just go creative mode for everybody, I'm kind of the opinion that we crank the resource rates on building resources to something ridiculous. Because if we allow creative mode to anybody on the map, there is a red gun. People can pop out and destroy other people's lovely creations.
Yeah.
So I don't think that will work. But if we crank the resource rate severely, you could harvest a rock and have enough to build 10 bases, that kind of approach. We also change it so that, yes, dinosaurs, I think, would be present, but we just have plain vanilla. So you're gonna have standard dinosaurs on there. You wouldn't get any supply crates coming down either. So it's a populated map. It has dinosaurs. You can build on it, and you can build massive structures. You do the building within the constraints of the kind of vanilla structures. So it's a map that barely has any mods on it other than what we need to allow it to function. And the reason I would like to do that is so people can see what a difference it makes when you pull out a whole chunk of mods and suddenly play Ark. Because that will hopefully dovetail into one of our next things.
It will indeed. So, what I'm going to do, and this terrifies me every week, something always goes wrong. I am going to flip. Here we go. Drum roll, please. Drum roll, please. Hey! Okay, so DJ has crafted this wonderful spreadsheet for us. Do you want to take us through the spreadsheet then? What are we looking at?
Yes. Here? Well, first of all, we have to wait for the stream to catch up on Discord.
We do indeed.
For those of us watching on there.
That's cool.
Now, can we zoom that? You can go view and then zoom, I think.
I can go view and zoom. Do you want to go to?
I don't know. Just make it a bit more. Ooh. Yeah. So I don't know, 125 or something. 200% is going to be nuts.
100% is quite nuts, but we can scroll down it if it fits lengthways.
Yeah, that works. So what you're seeing, I'll wait for Discord to catch up again.
Tula says 200 is good.
Yeah, 200 is good. Okay, we'll go with that. So for those of you wondering, if you're watching on YouTube and just listening on Discord, you will see a much zoomed spreadsheet on YouTube. And also for those of you wondering, if you're listening on Discord, mute your YouTube stream. Otherwise you're getting it twice. So what we've got here is we've got a spreadsheet of all of our mods. That's the order in which they load. And column D, you have the size of the mod. Column C is the size of the mod in megabytes. And column D is a percentage that mod uses out of the total size of all the mods. So if you scroll down to the bottom, I think we will... Can you scroll? There we go. So our total mod size, according to the workshop, is 6 gigabytes.
Yep.
So if we go back up to the top now.
That is a lot of data.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of data.
Now up at the top. Seconds to catch up.
There we go.
There we go.
So as you can see, the Valguero Dino map extension uses 0.01% of our total mod size, minuscule mod. Then you've got Crystal Isles Dino, Structures Plus, and down the list. The color grading on there is all kind of dynamic. So anything in green or dark green is you would not notice this mod loading. It doesn't matter what system you're on, you wouldn't notice. And what I've done is I've done the load times in minutes based on somebody taking 30 minutes to load into the game. If I change that down to 5 minutes, which is what I take, well, I don't even take that, it's like 1 minute 40 or something. But from the data that we've been given from our players, but I'm guessing people on high-end systems, they take about 5 minutes to load on average. But we're going 30 minutes, which is worst case scenario. So you can see Crystal Isles Dinos adds 2 minutes 49. Castles Keeps Remastered is 3 minutes 27. Krakens is 2 minutes 57. The Editions Collection, that's 9 minutes of somebody's 30-minute load time. So on and so forth down the list. So our question to you guys is, if you were to remove any mods from this to improve your load times, and also let me add, would improve the performance in game for those of you with low graphics card memory, because the big mods, they're big because they have lots of textures in them, and those textures have to be loaded into your VRAM. And if you don't have enough VRAM, it causes all sorts of issues for you, performance related and display related. So the question to our entire community is, if you were to take anything out of that list, what would it be?
Yeah.
And we will post this up in feedback. And I think having curated feedback on this is important. Responses on YouTube as well, please. The YouTube chat, please let us know. But yeah. What would you take out of that list?
Yeah, I know a lot of people have been saying that they have struggled loading, and yeah, we do have quite an extensive set of mods. If it was my choice, it would be some of the ecos maybe, and a particular one I would bring attention to is additional aberrant dinos. Not the collection, not the brackies or anything like that. These are additional aberrant dinos. Do people use these? Is there any additional aberrant dino collectors out there? And if anyone's got any data they can pass forward as well on, what load times do you experience? We need a wide sweep, really, I think.
What I would say, though, is additional aberrant dinos, they actually have benefits to them over the standard dinos, which many people are not aware of.
Yeah.
Same with the Rs, the Xs. They all have pros and cons to them. People normally just look at them because, ooh, they're shiny, or they've got different stripes or stuff like that. But actually, all the different dino variants have negatives and positives about them, like increased damage resistance, decreased health, all that kind of stuff. But my take on this is anything in green, dark green, there's no reason to remove it.
Yeah.
Quantity of mods does not matter. It's the size of the mods. And typically, the bigger the mod, the more textures in it, and the more negative effect it has on people's gameplay experience.
Yeah.
So I would actually go, in the ecos discussion, I would say the shop decor and the tech decor would come out, possibly along with the garden decor is the only thing that really adds some flavor to people's gardens, but it also adds gnome houses and shit like that. So I don't know. But the only one I really like out of the eco stuff is the RP decor, because it lets you really turn the interior of your constructions into something cool.
Yeah.
And removing
RP I can see being used a lot.
Sorry?
RP I can see being used a lot.
Yeah, if you look at the cumulative saving, so you're like 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes for taking out those 3 mods, or you can take out one of them and save 257. It's kind of, that's the way I'm looking at that, because Ark does need a bit of help with its interior decoration.
It does.
Exterior decoration, I'm kind of thinking it's got to be the vegetation planters. People need to use those more.
They use
they use existing assets in the game, and those things give you access to all of the plants and objects that are available in Ark that are used to build the world. So there's a lot of stuff in there that you can use. I noticed somebody mentioned the Tech Reaper, removing that. Can we just have a quick look at what the cost of that is?
Really small. 13 meg.
So where is it? Tech Reaper, there we go. So it has an impact, but the impact is minuscule. It's a 13 megabyte mod. And so I'm happy to remove it. But honestly, don't see the point. There's stuff with much bigger impact that could go.
Yeah. I was going to quickly skim across what the Ecos stuff does, though, for people who are not sort of familiar with... People who are not familiar with what they do. So the RP is mainly decorative. It's huge. I get why people use it. DJ's completely right. The interior decor is a pain in the ass. Tech decor. You've probably seen the fridges with the floating humans and dinos in there. Pretty cool. Necessary? Not really. The biggie from the tech decor is the generator. I don't know if people are aware of this. I know a lot of people use them. You have to craft the tech generator. There's no getting around that. So you need the engram. You need to be able to craft it. However, you can then convert that into Eco's tech generator, which runs from gas rather than element. There are some caveats to that. So, for example, when it comes to tech power, things like transmitters and teleportation, this does not count, I don't believe. But generally running nannies and stuff like that, it's pretty cool. It's a fairly sizable mod. Can you live without it? Garden decor is exactly what it says on the tin. There's a lot of flowers, there's a lot of, that sort of stuff. That can be completely replaced with the planting decor if you do correctly, and is really cool. And then the shop decor is, if I remember correctly, a lot of like awnings and signs, boxes of various types. I don't know who uses them, what people use them for. I have seen bases in the past where people have like got some really weird sort of eco-modded cupboards, and then they filled them with soul balls and stuff like that. But just be aware of what these things do before you suggest them. You said CKFS. I can see meltdowns over CKFS.
No, that was in response to a question, where does the wireless power system come from?
Gotcha. Yeah, that is CKFS, the civilian generator. Which is also cool.
I'm kind of on the same page as John is mentioning. The shop and garden decor, both of those. The shop decor is not really. It's nice. It has some good cupboards in it and stuff like that, and some interesting storage options. But I think that's really focused for people who are building towns,
yeah,
and stuff like that.
Communities and stuff.
Yeah, building RP communities.
I mean, that alone there, we're talking nearly 600 meg. That's a lot.
Also, think about when you're loading and the mods load in, where does it slow down and where does it speed up? And it does tie up with these mods quite severely.
Totally. It does for me. The collection hurts a lot, but
yeah,
it's a
totally.
really, really, really good. It's reformatted the mod IDs. You get the gist.
Mm-hmm. Oh, double click on the little vertical line next to B.
Little vertical line.
So you got B, column B at the top.
Yeah.
Hover over the line to the right of that. The line to the right of B.
Yeah, I got it. It's just
go right.
It's done.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep, it's cool. The woes of Excel. But yeah, I think there's two there that have been identified, and have a think. What do you think?
Yeah, we'll post the list, and people can give us their opinions. Again, opinions are only going to go into feedback because we want constructive feedback from people who have played on the cluster and have an understanding of what all the mods do and the impact they have on the cluster.
Mm-hmm.
So just work down the list quickly. I'll give you my thoughts on these.
Back to the top then.
So yeah, back to the top.
We start with the Volgareno Dino and map extension.
So yeah, I'm fine with leaving that in. Crystal Isles
tiny.
Dino additions.
That's a biggie.
Now, there's a thing about Crystal Isles dinos. They look awesome, but I don't have the feeling people really use them or breed them in any meaningful way other than just say, I've collected this one and now it's in a soul trap in my base. Correct me if I'm wrong here or right, but I am not convinced that is a worthwhile addition to our cluster. I mean, it fleshes out and completes Crystal Isles in the way it should have been, but well, it's the problem with the rough crystal.
That's why it was asked for on the shop, which we're looking into, by the way.
So we make rough crystal more obtainable, or we kind of like.
That is true, actually. The crystal magnuson and drakes are much easier to get and raise.
Yeah, they seem to last. Their food stats seem to work that. Okay, so that's fine. There's people breeding the crystal lines, and we'll make that more accessible. They do look better, and actually they have better stats than more people realize. They have about a 10 to 15% increased damage output to vanilla dinos.
Yeah. And again, this is not a conversation of we are going to remove. This is a question of, do you want to remove? Are we happy with the mod list? Are we not? What are your load times like? It's all important.
What I'd be really interested in is more people to offer up their load times, what hardware they're running, and how long they take to load in.
Yeah, that would be epic.
I keep trying to collect that data, but obviously the more tech-savvy people tend to have the better hardware and they supply the right information. The not-so-tech-savvy people most times tend not to have the better hardware and don't supply the information.
Well, the
We'll go. I'll post in the chat channel and I'll put it in feedback actually. After the roundtable, I'll show you what we've collected so far, and I'll put it in ARC feedback, and you can see the kind of data that we're after. I think that's probably the best approach.
Now, interestingly, there from Lever Luca, 20 minutes due to Battle Eye. This actually probably would help that situation.
It will.
Battle Eye basically is all that's doing is it's waiting between you pressing start and you actually registering and the server acknowledging back, hello, I see the player, he's here. And if you get to sort of like a 15-minute load time, it's just like, well, this is not average. You've gone. Boom. So that this would absolutely help people who are in that situation, which is the reason it was brought up.
It's slightly different to that, but yeah, the gist of it's right. From what I believe is the computers with the battle eye errors, timeout errors or responding errors, it's because their computer's so bogged down with processing they can't actually send their regular ping off to battle eye.
Yeah.
So it thinks you've DC'd.
Yeah. I'm trying to put it as simply as possible so that people understand what we're talking about. But yeah, it's the time between you pressing go and the server being able to communicate with you. And if you're tied up with like 6 GB worth of mods, this is exactly why this happens.
Okay, yeah, I'd say 5 to 10 minutes is kind of acceptable. What we're seeing from a large portion of our players is 20 to 30 minutes is not acceptable, I don't think. That's why we're reviewing it. That's why we're collecting people's input. So anyway, okay, turns out Crystal Dinos is important. Structures Plus, super important, can't live without.
Yeah.
CKFR, yes, we have a lot of builds on that. People love it. And CKFS, I'm on the fence about, but there are a lot of builds with it, and it ties up nicely with Eco's tech mod. But it has its issues. It's incomplete. It's nowhere near as polished as CKFR. And the science fiction stuff, I don't know if you're aware. I don't think he will ever finish it, to be honest. He released what I would call an accidental semi-final release for Remastered, which actually removed all the engrams and put them onto the crafting benches and stuff like that to alleviate buffer overflow and too many engrams being learned. CKFS would be good if it could follow that way. It would also be good if he could fix the doors. And it would also be good if you could add all the missing components and kind of fix the wireless power system so it was more reliable. But yeah, I'm not a fan of CKFS, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, just another thing to add there as well. Our main base on CI is built from science fiction, so we would also take a hit there. It is what it is. But yeah, science fiction does cause some issues.
Yeah. Bridge. I have mixed feelings on Bridge. Personally, I love the idea of it, but anything over the vanilla sizes have caused me issues when running around on them. I see the pros and I see some cons there.
Yeah. Kraken's is a no-brainer.
KBD, Kraken's better dinos, that's got to stay.
Yeah, that's a complete no-brainer. The stuff that brings is phenomenal, so that's all good.
Aberrant I would have as a candidate for removal. I don't think we have... I mean, it would make Aberration and the Aberrant zones less interesting. And it would also remove one of a very nice looking Wyvern from the game. Yeah, that is Tom. That is the Night Wyvern.
They're so cool.
Yeah, they are indeed.
For 240 meg, I'd be willing to live with that. I love my Night Wyvern.
Yeah, it's sad though that we can't split that out and just have a Night Wyvern.
Interesting.
Which is a real shame.
It is.
Additions, that's got to stay. Domination Rex,
Yeah.
I'm saying that's got to stay.
Yeah.
Tech Reaper, I'd happily bin that off in an instant, but it has little to no impact on what we do. Shiny Dinos, definitely got to stay.
Totally.
Simple Spawners, yeah, we've got to keep it, functionally speaking, and it's super small. Better Horde mode, well, the load times and size of that speak for itself. Dino storage has got to stay. Lethals reusables, no impact. Crafting skill potion. I don't understand why the crafting skill potion mod is as big as it is.
Big as it is. Yeah.
It's just, I could make that and do it without adding probably any significant size to our mod.
And I think we should make it.
It's just like, what's going on there?
It's something fairly small. I can imagine that's not too difficult. I speak purely out of unknowingness here.
What I mean is, I know how it could be done, but what I can't understand is why it's taking 19 megabytes when our mods takes less than 1.
Yeah.
And we have way more stuff in it and images.
My guess would be for that mod a really, really unoptimized image or something.
I think I know what it is. When you cook a mod in the dev kit, it adds extra assets to the mod if you're not careful. Like, for instance, when I cooked the latest version of our cluster mod today, it added in all the Halloween assets for the Halloween event.
Yeah.
And that pushed the size of the mod up to 19 meg, roughly. No, what was it, 60? No, 60 meg, sorry. So I then had to go in before I published it to the test version and delete all of those assets from the cook, and then upload the mod. So my guess is there's some assets being cooked into that mod that shouldn't be there. Actually, I'll have a quick look afterwards.
Yes.
Orbital satellite uplink, super small, does a really good job, can't live without.
Yep.
Now, this is my personal opinion. I have spent quite a significant amount of time building stuff from Aaron Longstaff's videos. I've done it on both our current live map and in single player and on old servers that we've done. And with all of those builds, I've decorated those built structures and bases just using vanilla objects and actually made them look really freaking good. Using things like fish baskets, salt pots, small wooden crates, and random shit like that just to decorate the interior. Building like chairs and seats out of, kind of like planks and pillars and stuff like that. And doing things kind of like creatively. And I find it's possible to build a very attractive, awesome looking structure without actually using any of the stuff in ecos with a little bit of effort.
Yeah.
So in my personal opinion, I'd bin all the ecos stuff right off. I would keep all of the vegetation planters because they give you stuff to decorate your bases with, both from plants, trees, shrubs, bushes, rocks, bones, all sorts of stuff. Every single asset that is used to build a map is available through those planters. That's why they're so small, because they only use currently existing in-game assets. So I'd keep all of that. Additional emotes. Now, this is where the community needs to feed into this one. Who uses them? Because I sure as hell don't. I barely have enough buttons to use the current emotes, let alone additionals. I find the system too clunky and unwieldy to be able to use all the emotes properly.
The answer to that, Mahmood, is if we remove CKFS, anything built with it just deletes.
It disappears.
Which is why we won't be doing that.
In fact, there's only 2 emotes that I do use: light on and light off, and salute. So I kind of go and see somebody and say, "Wave, hi."
Halloween emotes for the win. Definitely, all day long. Scare and knock are two favourites.
Yeah, there are tons of emotes already in the game, and I just don't use them. Let alone having a whole keypad full.
I would agree with that as well, Mahmood, about needing the night wife.
Yeah, night wife. Oh, definitely. Yeah, of course. But guys, we're not actually going to remove anything. I want your input on whether or not you use these mods. That's the whole point of the conversation. So nothing's going. Yeah, that's same here. So anyway, moving on. Additional emotes, personally, that would be a go for me. Scribbles, better signs. Can't live without the bloody
It's awesome.
things.
It's really good.
Yeah. Given the size of the mod, brilliant.
If you've not used Scribbles Better Signs, go craft yourself one and play. It is amazing, especially when you turn the visibility off and the stuff you can do with them. Really good. Spyglass, no, of course we can't touch the spyglass.
With Scribbles, by the way, for those of you wondering, the basic sign is craftable in your inventory. The more advanced signs you need to use crafting stations for. Because a lot of people are like, oh, where's the metal sign gone? It's on your crafting station. It's not in your inventory. Cluster support mod. Yeah, I think we need that. There's a few things in there that we kind of rely on. Along with the inventory backup system.
Yeah, is a must, yeah.
The editable server UI. Now, here's the thing. It's quite large. How can a UI be so large? He's loaded it with background images for the UI screens.
Yeah.
Lots of them you can choose from. So my thoughts on this is editable server UI is open source. They have the source code for it. I could actually
slim it down a little bit.
Yeah, we could probably take that down to about 4 megabytes rather than 34. And just upload it back to the workshop and say, look, this is a re-upload with images removed, and just have a dark background on it, like a semi-transparent black background on each screen as opposed to imagery. Items plus companion is essential. That's what automatically uploads your stuff when you go to an obelisk. Arcshop UI, I think you'll agree, is essential. And Snap Fixer Plus, again, is essential. It fixes all the issues of interacting when building with multiple structure mods. So, after this, we'll post this list in feedback, and we'll ask people to let us know what your load times are and what your hardware is. Oh. And then get your feedback on what's good and what's bad.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Tom. Yes, imagine what it did to me. She did a really good job on that. She would. She'd be absolutely proud of that. Again, if people are not aware of what we're talking about, I lost my wife on Boxing Day last Christmas. She was obviously part of the WNG tribe, and she had a base on CI. We cleared up that base. She had her own base. We cleared it up, and Sandy made a really, really cool resting place for her in the middle of the trading post on Ragnarok, which she built. That's what Tom's referring to there. Tom obviously knew her very well. I'm surprised you missed that, to be honest. No, I don't mind sharing. She had a run-in with kidney cancer a number of years ago. It's been a long time, pretty much 18 years we've been going through this crap now. At least through the last, 8 to 10. She was given sort of like 6 months to live. Kidney cancer is one of those types of cancers out there that they still don't know that much about. And it's one of those that moves around fairly easy as well. So after a battle with kidney cancer, having a nephrectomy, funny story there actually, she had her right kidney removed. And as they stuck her on the operating table, they were saying to her, like, we're just going to draw a little X on the side. And at this point, she's like under anesthesia and falling asleep, noticing that they're putting the X on the actual wrong side of the body. There was a cool story there where she was basically trying to stay awake to tell them they'd drawn on the wrong side and don't take the good kidney, please. So after that, they weren't sure at first whether she had sort of stage. They knew she had stage 4 kidney cancer. They didn't know whether at that point they had METs. METs being when kidney is free flowing and it's like in the bloodstream, which means it can travel around the body and infest somewhere else. They thought she'd had METs. It turned out afterwards it was kind of a combination of that and something called necrotizing sarcoidosis, which is a condition probably a lot of people have not heard about. What that does, basically, it can appear anywhere in your body. It doesn't really give a damn where it appears. The necrotizing part obviously means death, and it basically crystallizes whatever it touches and shuts it down irrecoverably. They can slow it with some really nasty drugs, which impact the sort of your quality of life, but they can't stop it. So we had like a really long sort of 5 or 6 year battle with that, which culminated in Christmas last year. She was rushed into hospital. It was Christmas Eve. We knew she was seriously ill. Everybody who was close to us did, but we weren't expecting that to go that fast. It turns out she had a lower lung infection because the sarcoidosis was all through her lungs. She'd never smoked, she didn't drink. It's just one of those things that happened. And she got a lower lung infection, so she went in sort of Christmas Eve, and by Boxing Day, she was gone. It was that fast. So yeah, it's been kind of a rough year, but it was cancer basically, and then complications from. They're still not sure what the correlation between the sarcoidosis and the cancer was. It's usually a side effect from one of the drugs they used to treat cancer, but she hadn't actually had that drug, so we've got no idea sort of where that came from. But yeah, it's Sandy. Literally a few weeks ago, we moved her body from that. That was difficult, having to sort of log into her account, take control. I know it seems silly, it's pixels, but moving her across nearly broke me. And then seeing what Sandy had built, and the final resting place is beautiful. So she's going to remain there. The character never died. We were able to move her successfully, but yeah, that was rough. Tom obviously knew her very, very well, hence what he's saying. You know, he ran across the trading post and saw it, and yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah, it's been a rough year, but yeah, it was cancer at the end of the day. Moving on before I start getting emotional, but yeah, it's been quite a crappy year. Christmas obviously is going to be interesting this year. Yeah, I've seen it done a few times, Nugget. People who have been close to us in the past and stuff like that. No, we are absolutely not deleting dummies. Don't be silly. But if anybody does want to know, or if anybody does, fancy a look, there is a little diorama in the middle of the Ragnarok trading post that you can go and see, and the person lying in that cryopod is Liz, who's Elaine, my ex-wife. And there you go. Wasn't expecting that.
No. Bit of insight into Nani's life there.
Totally. It was a rough couple of years. We were expecting it, but it was just things happened, didn't they? It's really, really fast. We weren't expecting it, and bing bong bosh, it was all sort of dusted really fast. Like a huge portion of your life that's sort of like gets removed in 5 minutes, and you're left sitting there thinking, Jesus, how do I fill this? And there you go, less of the morbid stuff.
So
go on.
I was going to say, moving on.
Yeah.
We don't need that sheet up anymore, so
We don't. The sheet is now
we
removed.
can go back to Halloween. Yay!
Yay!
The next bit that I wanted to touch on with regards to Arc is, as many of you are aware, there was a mod update for our cluster support mod. That was me having to rewrite the entire thing. So there are some notable issues with it. I'm going to push a mod update out during downtime tomorrow morning. Hopefully that will address any remaining issues. I had a couple of reports come in of feeding troughs not blocking resource spawns or dino spawns. Now, I think I need to first kind of go into the three types of trough we have. Vanilla troughs, both wood and tech, block dino and resource spawns, but they don't have the functionality that S Plus does, which is the filtering, the naming so you can pull stuff or not pull stuff from them, and the range as well. The range on a vanilla trough, I think, is about 11 or 12 foundations. Barely covers a base. So using those to block resource spawns is kind of very impractical because you need like 20 of the bloody things down. Then you've got the S Plus troughs, both wood and tech. They have all the functionality that S Plus does, but they don't block anything from spawning resources or dinos. That was a recent change in S Plus, and not something that we could change. Well, the mod author's not willing to change it. He had more requests to allow stuff to spawn than to block it. So he made it so they allowed stuff to spawn. Then you've got the WNG troughs. Now, what they are, the WNG troughs are actually a modified S Plus trough, both wood and tech, to take it back to what it used to be before the mod author of S Plus made the changes. And what that is it's actually a vanilla trough with extended range and S Plus functionality. So some of you were saying that you were seeing dinos spawning in your bases or around your bases. It's not because the trough was broken, it's because the blocking range was the same as the blocking range on vanilla. So hopefully I have fixed that.
Awesome.
I saw this on our CI base quite obviously because once you get out of range of the vanilla range, everything respawns. Despite what the display range on the trough actually showed you. So I was actually, I can't. How can I? I can't share my screen, can I?
Yes,
Can I?
I can probably do something with that. So if you share,
Oh, well, this will be interesting.
Let's try this, eh?
Okay.
While you're setting that up, I was also going to say thank you to those who joined for the Shiny Conga. It was fun. It was interesting. The lag was insane, but yeah, hopefully everybody enjoyed that, and thank you for coming. It cheered me up immensely.
So I'm wondering what's going to happen here.
Me too.
Actually, can I share my screen? Going to share that window, 1080p. Go.
What I'm wondering is whether I can still keep this WNG Streams YouTube thing going and watch your live stream. Let's try.
I mean, I'm streaming and doing all sorts at the same time.
If you pop out of activity, it will refresh and you might lose your place. Well, that's fine. Well, let's do this. Put that there. Do that. And then we can do maybe
On the fly technical stuff.
Yeah, look at that. It's working. Holy crap, what is that noise?
That's a tech trough. A vanilla tech trough.
Can you turn it down a little bit?
Nope. Unfortunately, not something I can do in the dev kit.
And yes, Tom, Shiny Conga was the best kind of cluster.
Can I mute it? I can mute my audio, I think, but then I won't be able to hear you.
Hang on a minute. I'm working on this.
You can turn it down.
Technicalities.
Full control.
Boom! There we go. Sorted. Let's go.
Right. So this is a WNG tech trough. Yay!
This is also, by the way, for the uninitiated, the Orc dev kit.
So this is also something I want to show you. Oh, is it? Which window is it streaming?
I'm at the moment looking at your dev kit.
Are you not seeing me moving around in it?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, let me change that. How do we?
I've always wanted to do this. Hang on.
Always wanted to see. Change windows. There we go. Is that better?
No. It's very static.
Change windows again. Let's try that one.
Well, it's definitely done something, but it's not moving.
Oh, fine. We'll do the whole screen then.
Fine. Hey, look at that. Hey, that's better.
There we go.
Wiggly hands and some movement. Yes, that's good.
Good. So what you got going on down here, this is our WNG tech trough, powered by a vanilla tech generator, which looks so cool. All the particle effects and shinies and stuff. Love it. Shame. So then I had to measure out the distance in foundations to make sure it was right. And here's our little test raptor over here. Woohoo! Hello.
Hello.
You can see he's being fed because he's got the little trough thing above him. And here's a little unknown thing about these feeding troughs. The display area is a circle. But if I go over here, shock horror, he's still being fed.
Ooh.
Ah.
Sorcery.
Yeah, it's actually a square.
Oh.
So
Okay.
if I stop here, he's no longer being fed. And the border is, if I can go back in here, back in line with that bit, he's being fed again. Tech troughs actually feed in a square, or S plus feed in a square. That's why Ryan's son changed the view on the troughs to be square rather than circular. But the blocking radius is actually circular, I believe. So anyways, long and short of it is, this little puppy's been modified, and it should be feeding the correct ranges now. I also had, got to be careful what I show you because I might spoil the Halloween surprise. That would be bad, wouldn't it?
It would. Almost like playing Arc windowed inside another app.
Hmm?
Like playing Arc windowed inside a different app.
So that's a vanilla tech trough feeding radius. Pretty small. But that will also block resource spawns. And then you've got and the WNG one. Pretty sure they move those around deliberately. So, interestingly enough, vanilla wooden and vanilla tech both have the same feeding range. It's identical. So there's actually no benefit over using one over the other apart from the refrigeration. And then you've got the difference in the range between our wooden one, which stops here, and our tech one, which stops here, which is 15 foundations from the center and 25 foundations from the center. So that's what will be going in with maintenance tomorrow. Exciting. And what it all came down to was an annoying little bit of code that was here. So within the kit, you set the default feeding range, the default range of the trough, and that was the vanilla feeding range. The two were fighting with each other and creating some unexpected results. So I zeroed that out and just set in 15 foundations for the wooden one. Then also had to change. This is what draws the circle around. To get the circle to actually more accurately represent the range of the feeding trough, there was some math in here which was adding some extra numbers to it to try and compensate for the fact that the feeding area was a square, not a circle. But I just ripped that out. And at some point, I will convert it to being a square instead, which shouldn't be too difficult. But I need to work on that. And that's that.
Very cool.
Exciting stuff. I'll push the update out tomorrow. It'll also fix the cryopods. Suddenly appeared in the game again. They will disappear again. Try and avoid confusion with that.
Yep.
And then from a modding point of view, I have a couple of thoughts on where I want to go with it next. And that's going to be seeing if I can mess with the propagator a little bit. And also I wanted to see if I could somehow get improve or what was I thinking of? Crystal. Yeah, that was it. Rough crystal production. Somehow improve that, but I'm not sure I can, so may not bother with that. But yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else for Arc, I don't think.
No, I think we're good this afternoon then. Which leads us to anybody got any questions? Anything burning in your pit of your very soul that you need to know?
While you're thinking up those questions, quick summary of what we've talked about today. Much exciting stuff happening with Rust. Creating another server that will create a much more enjoyable PvE Rust conquest experience with capture points, events, and objectives to achieve within the game, building, and all that kind of stuff. Then with the Arc stuff, we're looking at all the mods we've currently got. We're going to post that in feedback afterwards, full mod list, load times, mod sizes. We want people's feedback on what they think of the mods, which ones, if any, they'd take out to improve people's gameplay experience. And then we've got maintenance tomorrow and obviously a mod update to go out. And that's it. So I'm hoping while I've been talking, people have come up with any questions they may have.
If you're not asleep at this point, has anybody got any questions? Literally anything at this point. It's all good.
Normally can't shut you up while we're chatting.
Disgusting. Where are the questions?
Okay. If we do decide to remove a mod.
Yes.
Yes, it won't be like the structure limit changes, because there is no benefit to anybody to try and do anything before a mod would be removed.
It will just disappear anyway.
Friday bosses, what happens? To be honest, I haven't had time to look at that. I'm quite busy at the moment work-wise. Got a website launch for a client, big client. That's been consuming most of my time, and just dealing with issues rather than improving things that already exist. Which reminds me, actually, server crashes. We had a number of server crashes over the last week, or servers failing to start. The first time we actually got a crash stack for the server crash was when the island crashed on, what was it? Sunday night? I think it was Sunday night, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, when the island crashed on Sunday night, we managed to get a crash log for that. Lucky. And that immediately led us to the cause of the problem. Somebody crafted something on the island that caused it to crash. That pointed at a particular file that needed to be updated due to recent changes to Arc, which also fixed another issue for us, which then fixed the issue with the servers not starting properly. So we updated that. I think it took us about 5 or 6 hours to get to the bottom of that. And yeah, we've got that nailed.
You're a skill, Tom. That's what that is. That's the lying at the side of me right now. Grumpy.
Yeah, somebody crafted something, so yeah, we're switching crafting off.
Yep, totally. No more crafting for anybody. While we're at it, another big causal lag, dinosaurs, all removed.
Yeah.
Think of the FPS there. Awesome. What lights up a soccer stadium? Well, that's obvious. Lights. Next. Absolutely not. I would never drug the dog. My dad was around this afternoon, so he's done plenty of running around with round spherical objects. I obviously can't say the word, but I'm sure everybody knows what's round and spherical and loved by dogs.
No,
don't go there. Don't go there. Don't. And thank you, Katsu. We do our best. Sometimes it's hard work. Sometimes it's frustrating, but we definitely do our best. And there we have it.
What happened there?
With
so chat jumped and I was like, huh? What's going on? So yeah, we got to the bottom of issues and problems. We fixed them. Took time. But we're all good.
We are indeed. In that case, if there is no more questions, we'll end the torture here. We've been going now for an hour and 15 minutes. That's not actually that bad. We've been doing well.
That's pretty good. And considering that we didn't prepare any notes, because we've both been exceptionally busy.
Just a few little ones. But yeah.
But we did pretty well.
Really good. And thank you to everybody who has attended the YouTube session. Thank you to everybody who's been watching and liking and subscribing and all that sort of stuff. Our stats are getting up. So thank you very, very much. You can beat the shit out of each other if you want, Sandy. It's all good. PvP arena, anyone?
Head over to the Scorched Earth arena, get out your disposable dinos and tear each other to pieces.
Yeah.
We do have a leaderboard for PvP kills. Come on. Get in.
Yeah, if you're not aware, the arena, the Manticore arena on Scorched Earth is actually a PvP zone. Does a dodo bomb count? It does in the PvP arena.
I do find it quite funny. People are like, oh, can we have some time to PvP or tribe wars or stuff like that? Or yeah, just take your tribe over to the arena and beat the shit out of another tribe. You don't need to click a button or do anything special. Just walk in.
Maybe that's the next event. Maybe that's the next live stream. Maybe we all go across the scorched earth and beat the shit out of each other.
Oh, I think so. Sounds fun.
Okay, we're on that for... I was going to say Friday night. I really shouldn't. We've got Saturday. We've got the fear, haven't we? So at some point...
Let's not do any impromptu planning.
Yeah, let's absolutely not. But yeah, at some point, we will go across to the SE arena. We won't be taking shiny dinos this time, and we'll beat the crud out of each other. All good?
Oh, hang on.
Shiny Conga goes to SE arena. Oh, yeah.
Furiously typing.
We should have gone to SE in the first place. Maybe we do next time. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Yes, I'm clicking yes. I don't want to...
We have a poll. Where's a poll? Can I dance around it?
Bad things to me.
83% said yes.
Excellent. I really shouldn't have clicked that.
Why?
It's a bad monkey. No, I can't go back.
89% say yes. 91%. Ho.
Shiny Conga to the SE arena it is.
Just got to be careful with that shiny Conga, though.
Pretend I didn't hear that.
The shiny gun can produce dinos which crash servers. It has happened.
That'll teach me. Anyway, right. So I think we're good, right?
I think so.
I think we're all good. In that case, we have been the Wicked Ninjas. You have all been awesome as usual. And thank you and good night. I will see you on Saturday. And much fun is going to be had. Actually, before we do go, if we still got people here, I was actually forgotten something. I was going to give a little bit of a rundown of what actually is going to happen on Saturday, so you've got some heads up. So here's how things are going to work in a very roundabout way without giving many details away. So it's going to be a clustered map. You will transfer across. It's a case of nothing goes in. You go naked exactly like you would to a new map or currently how the center is set up. I don't want people taking anything in. Remove your chibis, remove everything, because everything in there is going to go poof. Take nothing. When we get in there, you will spawn. There will be a very small area. Just walk through the door, pick up some gear. There's going to be some what looks like vaults attached to a wall. When you go into the vaults, you get a button that says basically reward menu. In that reward menu, you're going to find some categories. It's kind of like the Orc Shop, only it's graphical. It's different, but it works for what we're doing here. So basically, you'll have some categories. There's going to be a category for loadouts. There's going to be various forms of loadouts. Some will have flamethrowers, some will have rocket launchers, some will have assault rifles, some will be melee with short sword and shield. They're all usable. So maybe have a think if you're going in groups, if there's a tribe going, then think about how you're going to plan those rolls out. You will start with a pistol only. You get some bullets. You will have the option to buy some more bullets, and you will have the option to buy your main primary weapons bullets too, but those are on a cooldown. Basically, sort yourselves a spec out, stay put, follow the guide, and we'll go from there. It's all fairly self-explanatory. It's all basically about shooting everything in a wide radius until it all appears dead. And at the end of the night, we're going to have 2 prize pools. There's going to be 2 full waves of stuff coming at you. If we make it through the first wave, prize pool 1 is going to open up, which gives you X amount of something. I'm not telling you what it is yet. It's a surprise. If we manage to make it through both waves, however, with everybody cooperating, and it's going to require some cooperation, a little bit of kiting, there's a nice open area, do not leave the area. Everybody who leaves the area, you're just going to have to come back, probably kill yourself, you're going to hurt the team. So stay in the area, murder everything. If we get to the end of the second wave, we will trigger better prizes, which I think is cool. I don't think we've ever had a situation where that second wave has not been decimated, but I have ramped up the difficulty severely this year. We're taking no more than 40. So unfortunately, it'll be a case of sort of, if there's way more than that, I don't think there should be. We're going to allow for some people to drop on the night. But please do turn up if you've already subscribed to the event. If you can't make the event, remove your interest in the event, please, because it does help with the tuning of the event. But it's going to be fun. There's going to be lots of shooting things, and it's all in good, sort of just good spirits. We're there to have a laugh. There'll be prizes no matter what. There may be better prizes if you do well. So, plan ahead, do well. Everything's provided. So you don't need to take anything. You don't need to worry about dying. Just turn up, be yourself, have fun, no arguments. It's going to be a hoot. And with that, I'm done. I'll see you on Saturday. Good night. Bye-bye.